going on, everybody? Welcome to Idaho here. So we're in the Boise foothills, and we're going to be doing a trail today called Dry Creek, and we calculated it out to be about 11.6 miles. So we're just going to kind of take you guys along with us, and we'll kind of rate the trail as we go. We'll get some pictures in there and all that stuff. So you're going to start, we're going to start in scenery like this, which is kind of more deserty. But as you go up, you'll get more into some mountainy areas, so more trees and maybe even a little bit of snow on the ground, depending on how high we get. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. We'll have some good stuff coming up. Okay, so where are we here?
We are right here.
Okay.
Right now.
And show us where we're going today.
So we're going to hike up Dry Creek on 78. Then we're going to turn off here, do Shingle Creek. And then the trailhead here we'll meet again with 78. And then back this
all the way around. Okay.
way. And then out.
We're starting here at Upper Dry Creek. So here we go. Alright, so when you're coming up, the first part of the trail is going to be just like this. It's kind of sandy, easy to walk on, good grip. Up around that corner there are going to be some spots where you have to climb over some rocks. So if it's wet, it's going to be a little slick. Today's a dry day, so we don't have to worry about that. Down below, this is the creek that we're going to be basically following up the whole time. So we're going to be just running parallel with that the whole time. So I'll shoot some more as we get further along. It is getting a little warm, so we're probably gonna have to shed a layer here. Some cool rock formations though. There is a bit of a cliff when you first start on this trail, so if you have kids, anything like that, for the first, I don't know, probably a couple miles, right, you want to keep an eye on them, because there ain't no guardrail or anything to prevent them from falling. It's not straight down, but it's pretty close. Alright, so we're a mile in, and the terrain of the hike has changed, so it's not really as rocky anymore. It's more dirt, and we came down into the ravine, so we're actually a lot closer to the water now. We're like right next to the water. So, but we're still going up in altitude so far, so we'll check in next mile. Found some ants.
Did I write left on the paper? I think I wrote left on the paper.
Alright, so we are just over 2 miles in, crossing a little bridge here. Water's higher than it was last time we were in this area on the hike. Sorry, the water's pretty loud, I don't know if you can hear me. But we're actually taking this trail to the right here, so we're branching off at Shingle Creek. You could go Dry Creek, but we are going up 79 to the right. And this is where it branches off here, and we're 2 miles in, or slightly over. We're at 2.1 miles. Alright, so we're about almost 3 miles in here, and we do have to cross a little bit of water. Shouldn't have to get wet because there's some rocks and some logs that we can cross over on. But terrain's changing. We're headed more up. You can see some more trees starting to pop up in the mountains, so the terrain's going to be different here within a couple miles. Alright, so we're 3.15 miles in. Water level's a little high. Didn't get wet, but you do have to jump across and maybe use your hiking stick to pole vault across certain spots, but we made it without getting wet, so, but keep an eye out for that. We're still in kind of the foothills type of terrain here. We haven't really hit the mountains yet. We're probably a couple miles from the mountains, so we'll film a little bit more when we get up there. Alright, so we're at mile, I can't see here, 4 miles in. And as you can see, we're not really in the same type of environment. Now we're up where the trees are, up in the mountain area. In fact, there's still a little bit of, I don't know if you can see that. You zoom in here. Little bit of snow still on the ground. In fact, there's quite a bit more a little bit further down the trail, but I wasn't filming. So about 3.5 miles, that's where you start seeing the trees and you start going away from the desert up into the mountains. So we're gonna keep hiking, and we'll probably stop halfway and eat, and we'll have some more footage for you. Alright, so just hit mile 6, which is right around the halfway point. And as you can see, the trees, we're going away from the trees and the stuff over there, and we're kind of back in the sagebrush. A few scattered trees over there. On the other side of this hill, which is where we're going, there should be more trees just like over there. They seem to grow on that side of the trees, or that side of the hill. So right now, even though we're back in the sagebrush and stuff, we're going to be back in the woods here in a minute. Probably gonna stop. Let me flip this around here. Probably gonna stop and eat. Maybe have some PB&Js here in a couple minutes once we get around, since we're at the halfway point. Well, the rest of the way should be easy going. It's all downhill. But to this point, we've gone uphill all 6 miles. Some spots pretty steep, probably like, I mean, not super steep, maybe around 8% grade on some of them. Not too bad, but yeah, it's been all uphill though. So if you're looking for like an easy, you know, even flat hike, probably not the one for you. If you want something challenging, maybe like, no, I wouldn't say hard difficulty, but like a tough, moderate trail. This is a good one because you got lots of uphill miles, and you got lots of rocks to climb over, creeks to jump over, stuff like that. So it's good in that sense if you're looking for a good adventure trail. And occasionally you do get a good view of the Treasure Valley down there too. So down there, that's Boise and Nampa, Caldwell, all that stuff down there. We're gonna keep going though. We're coming on the other side of the hill here where we knew the trees were, but we weren't expecting this much snow. It's pretty hard packed, but it's 8 inches or so. So luckily there's a clear spot that we can walk down. So we're at mile 6.6 and we're still in snow here. It's about 1.5 feet of snow. Some of it's packed down from other people walking on it, so you can step without sinking in, but other spots not so much. Although there's a log here I can walk on. There we go. But we're gonna be in snow for a while, it looks like. Alright, so we're at mile 7, and now we're at the spot where we break. So we were on 79 that whole time. except for the first, what, couple miles. And now we're going back onto 78, which is where we started. So we're going to loop back down the way that we originally came up. And that's over in that direction over there. Mile 8.
We have to go through that.
Oh shit, really?
So I think we might need to go upstream a little bit.
We can maybe cross there. Or right here, actually. We're gonna have to cross right here. So I think it's... You don't think we could cross there? Okay, yeah. Well, maybe right here. Yeah, I mean, we could just jump right here. Jump across.
This would be a good place just to come and chill out and walk around and drink around.
That's true.
This water is pretty high, there's moss everywhere, so it's nice to look natural.
Yeah. All right, so we're at mile 10. Probably got about 3 to 4 miles to go, so it is a little bit longer than we had originally anticipated. So I think we mapped it out at 11.6, and it'll probably be more like 13 to 14. So the distance on the map that we calculated it from may be a bit off the key. But as you can see, we're kind of getting out of the trees and back into the foothills here. So more sagebrush and rocks and less trees for the rest of the way down. All right, so we're back where we branched off before. That's where we went before. We just came back from this way here. So, and we're at 11.8 miles. It's about 2 miles from here. So we're gonna end up with close to 14. It'll be like between 13.5 and 14 miles, so not bad. I'm not really going to shoot any of the rest of the hike just because it's the same trail that I shot coming in, so we'll do the post-hike wrap up after it's all said and done. Catch you guys then. Alright guys, so we're back. The hike's done. As you can see up here, it did only record 12.94 miles. Now the battery on my watch here, my Garmin, actually died right here. Now you can see the start. Let me zoom in here. You can see the start. This is where we started. This is where my watch died. It was literally a mile, slightly over a mile from the finish. The finish was like less than 14.1 miles. It's like 14.06 miles or something like that. So my watch died right before that. Now, it wasn't fully charged. It was maybe 80%, and I did have Bluetooth on that whole time along with using the GPS, so all that stuff drains the power quite a bit. You only get about 8 hours worth of GPS battery per full charge, and as you can see, our hike was, well, before it died, 5.5 hours, so probably more like close to 6 hours or so for the full hike altogether. Including times that we took breaks or whatever, or, stopped for a second, take a picture or whatever. The trail itself, though, how was it? It was good. I've been on the Dry Creek one before. So, as you can see, we started here. This is the 2 mile point right here where it branches off. Before we did that hike, I had branched off in this direction. We had actually hiked up here till about here and then turned around and went back, and I think that was like a 10-mile out and back that we did. So this time we did the opposite. We went this way and we looped in back over the way that we went the first time. Then we got back to our 2-mile point here and then just same trail there. Overall, it was good. The terrain out here it's a lot different. As you can see, it's like desert, and then up here it gets more foresty with the trees. And then right around, I have to zoom in here. You know, I'm not sure where it was exactly. Maybe about here, something like that. It was mile 6.5. No, it was actually just shortly after mile 6. It was maybe mile 6.25 is when we hit the snow, and it was packed for the most part, but you can still fall in, and it was about 1.5 feet of snow still. So you would fall in up to your knee if you broke through. But if you were walking on the part where other people had walked and packed it down, you were usually okay. But there was a few times where you did step in it and you sunk all the way down to your knee. One lady who was wearing running shoes, we actually helped her cross the creek a couple times because she had her dog and we're trying to help her cross so she can continue on the trail. She couldn't keep going because she was just in capris and running shoes, and she had her little dog with her. So when she hit the snow, she had to turn around. Luckily, I decided to go with my hiking boots instead of my running shoes that day. I knew it was going to be dry, but I thought it might be colder up there when you get up in the higher elevations. So that paid off. My feet stayed warm, and they only got, I think a little bit of snow got in my hiking boots, but nothing actually soaked through it. Just a few bits of snow got in there, but they dried out pretty quickly. Difficulty of the trail. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I wouldn't say it's a difficult hike. It is uphill 7 miles straight. It's 7 miles until you start going back downhill. So it's 7 miles uphill the whole time. But it's not super steep uphill. It is in some parts, but not throughout the whole thing. So I'd probably say it's more like a medium to moderate difficulty, but like on the harder spectrum of that because it is a lot of uphill. And even the downhill stuff is tricky because there's bridges that you have to cross that are like, you know, cut out of logs. They're slippery. You got to hang on to rocks. It's definitely on the harder end of medium, but I wouldn't necessarily say that the difficulty is hard. One disclaimer I will say, though, if you have kids or you're bringing your dog or whatever, that first part of the hike when you're going down into the ravine, it's not a sheer drop, but it's pretty close. It's pretty steep, and there's no rail. There's no real anything to guard whatever from falling over the side, so you really got to watch your step. And if you have young ones or pets or whatever with you, just keep an eye on them as well because there's nothing to prevent that. It is a busier trail. The first probably 3 miles of that trail, you are going to run into people. When you get further up, it's less and less and less, obviously. If you're doing that whole loop, you're not really going to hit that many people once you get a couple miles in. But I would, if I had to rate the trail like 5 stars or whatever, I'd probably give it like 4.5 out of 5, just because the change in terrains is pretty cool. I like you start here, then you go up in the mountains, then you go back to the desert, and you go back to the mountains, and you go back to the desert, and it switches, and there's kind of some in-between spots where it's kind of a mix of the two, and then, you know, you're following the creek along the whole way. Yeah, scenery-wise, everything, it's just a great trail, and it's not super difficult. You can do that loop in a day. I mean, I know it's 14 miles, but even if you were taking your time, I mean, you can see our average pace is pretty quick. The reason why it's so quick is because that last 7 miles downhill is, yeah, you're hustling a little bit, and we even ran a little bit on the way down. But overall, it's relatively easy. Especially if you're in good shape, you can do this no problem. Just bring comfortable shoes that you know aren't going to give you blisters. I wore my new hiking boots for the first time, which was not the smartest thing, so I did end up with a blister on the bottom of my foot, but not anything crazy. I mean, it's the next day now. It's the day after that hike, and I went and played basketball, so it's not a blister that's going to keep me out of action or anything like that. It's just a kind of an inconvenience. But if you got comfortable shoes that you've broken in and you're in good shape, this is a 14-mile trail that you can do no problem. If you're not in the best shape, that first 7 miles, you're going to want to take it easy. Bring lots of water, especially if it's warm out. When we did it, it was what, April 10th? So, no, April 9th, I'm sorry. We did it on April 9th. So even though the weather was good, it was between 65 and 55 degrees depending on what your altitude was. If you were higher up, obviously it was a little lower in temperature. But when you get up there and you're in the shade, obviously there's still lots of snow and it's actually pretty cold. So depending on what time of year, just make sure you dress appropriately. Bring lots of water, especially because it is uphill. You're going to be breathing heavy. You're going to be sweating a lot, so you're going to need some hydration. But yeah, other than that, I'll put directions to the hike in the not in the comments, but in the description below. So if you are in the Boise area or you're looking to come to the Boise area and you want something to do, again, there's tons of hiking trails and running trails and cycling trails, mountain bike trails, all that stuff out in the foothills here. So this is, in my opinion, one of the better ones. If you like, you know, both type of environments, the woods and the desert. So give it a shot. If you guys have done this one before, if you're looking forward to doing it, if you think I missed something on the hike that maybe I need to go back and check out, post it in the comments down below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's a new channel, but we're going to have lots of stuff coming out. If you want to check out my other channel, the link is in the description below as well. There's more, if you like hiking and stuff, that's going to be more for this channel. If you like more like running, cycling, nutrition tips and stuff is on the other channel. So I'll keep this one more hiking oriented. All right, guys, I've ran my mouth long enough, I think. So again, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, take care.